Hello, folks, and welcome to the Pack Recap. Today we highlight the 1961 NFL Championship Game. The 1961 NFL Championship Game was the 29th title game. It was played on December 31st at New City Stadium, later known as Lambeau Field, in Green Bay, Wisconsin, with an attendance of 39,029. The game was a matchup of the Eastern Conference champion New York Giants and the Western Conference champion Green Bay Packers. The home team Packers were a 3.5-point favorite. Packers Ray Nitschke, Boyd Dowler, and Paul Hornung were on leave from the U.S. Army. Hornung scored 19 points, a touchdown, 3 field goals, and 4 extra points for the Packers, and was named the MVP of the game and awarded a 1962 Chevrolet Corvette from Sport Magazine. The victory was the first of 5 NFL titles won in a 7-season span by the Packers and their head coach, Vince Lombardi. It was the Packers' 7th league title and their first in 17 years. This was the first NFL championship game held in Green Bay. The Packers' only other championship home game until then was 22 years earlier in 1939, played at the State Fair Park in West Allis outside Milwaukee. Both teams were eager to shed the runner-up label. The Giants were in their 3rd championship game in 4 years, falling in 1958 and 1959 to the Baltimore Colts, and the Packers had lost the title game in 1960 to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Giants' last league title was in 1956, and the Packers was in 1944. Temperatures at game time hovered at 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and for several days the field had been covered with a tarp, topped by a foot of hay. The covering was particularly significant as just 2 days before, the temperature dipped to minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Field conditions were of paramount concern if the teams were to make effective use of the running game. All the Packers players used cleats, and about half of the Giants players, led by head coach Allie Sherman, chose sneakers, believing they would grip better on a frozen field. At 6 a.m. on game day, workers began the process of snow and hay removal by hand-using baskets, as heavy equipment could have potentially damaged the field. Green Bay had defeated the Giants 20-17 4 weeks earlier at County Stadium in Milwaukee to clinch the Western title before a record crowd of 47,012. Injured in late October, Packer right guard Jerry Kramer was sidelined for the remainder of the season. Forrest Gregg moved in from right tackle to guard, and Norm Masters started at right tackle. After both teams exchanged punts, the Giants were on the move to the Green Bay 46-yard line when the Giants' end, Kyle Rote, who was wide open but looking back into the sun, dropped a long pass from Y.A. Tittle at the Green Bay 10-yard line. When the Packers took over for their second possession, end Max McGee returned the favor by dropping a 50-yard pass from Bart Starr. However, Starr then hit Paul Hornung for a 24-yard gain to midfield. Jim Taylor, despite having injured a kidney in the Rams game 2 weeks before, and Hornung kept the Packers' drive moving to the New York 6-yard line as time expired in the first quarter. Capping a 12-play, 80-yard drive, Hornung, the NFL's MVP for 1961, slashed outside the right tackle for a touchdown on the first play of the second quarter. Hornung's extra point gave Green Bay a 7-0 lead. The Giants' next 2 possessions resulted in 2 Tittle interceptions within 2 minutes. The first, by Ray Nitschke, led to a Bart Starr to Boyd Dowler slant pass in front of the goalpost for a 13-yard touchdown. Both Nitschke and Dowler were on leave from Fort Lewis in Washington. The second Packer interception, by Hank Greminger, resulted in a Ron Kramer 14-yard touchdown from Starr. Charlie Connerly then replaced Tittle at quarterback, and most of the Giants had switched to cleats by this time. Connerly hit Kyle Rote with a 35-yard pass to the Green Bay 15, and Bob Gators overthrew Rote, who was wide open in the end zone on a 4th down halfback option pass. With time in the half running down, Hornung gained 24 yards on 2 carries. Then tight end Ron Kramer caught a pass from Starr for 38 yards. Hornung followed with a 17-yard field goal as time ran out to make the score 24-0 at halftime. In an unusual turn of events, the Packers were given 5 downs on their first possession of the third quarter. On first down, Hornung ran up the middle. Then on second down, Bart Starr scrambled for 15 yards and fumbled the ball away. But the Packers were flagged for an illegal procedure penalty. After the Giants refused the penalty, the officials at first gave the ball to the Giants. but realizing a procedure penalty negates any resulting play, the officials correctly gave the ball back to Green Bay, albeit with a first down instead of second down. Despite the extra play, Green Bay eventually punted. The following series also resulted in a Green Bay punt, with the Giants' Joe Morrison fumbling and Forrest Gregg recovering for the Packers. Hornung then booted a 22-yard field goal, making it 27-0. The Packers continued their march toward a championship with hard running by Hornung and Tom Moore, who replaced Jim Taylor. Starr completed his third touchdown pass, this one to Ron Kramer in the left corner of the end zone. Kramer fell heavily on the ice after scoring and limped off the field. The Giants went back to Tittle at quarterback again as the quarter ended. Veteran quarterback Tittle, who led the Giants to 2 more championship appearances in 1962 and 1963, could do no better than Connerly, throwing an interception to the Packers' Jesse Whittington. Jim Taylor, back in the game, promptly rumbled outside the right tackle on a 33-yard run to the Giants' 13-yard line. Hornung ended the scoring with a 19-yard field goal. A fourth Tittle interception had the Packers knocking on the goal line again as the gun sounded to end the game. The 19 points that Paul Hornung scored was at the time the most ever in a championship game. 1 year earlier, in a 12-game season, Hornung scored an incredible 176 points, which remained a record even though the season had been increased to 16 games until 2006. With 40,000 tickets sold at $10 each and $615,000 in TV revenue, this game was the first NFL championship to generate $1 million in revenue. Each player on the winning Packers team received $5,195, while Giants players made $3,340 each. This was the 5th shutout in NFL championship game history, and Coach Lombardi's first of 5 championships in 7 years. Lombardi used a strategy in this game that was common in all the Packers championships, a strategy of fundamentally sound football. The Packers had no turnovers and only 16 yards in penalties, and to beat the opposition at their strength. In this case, running the ball at the Giants linemen Andy Robustelli and Rosie Greer. This strategy allowed the Packers to control the game, running 63 offensive plays to only 43 for the Giants. In 1959, Lombardi had taken over a Green Bay franchise that was the worst team in the league in 1958, and in 3 years, turned them into NFL champions. The information brought to you in this video has been provided by Wikipedia. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the Entertainment Log.